Duke is the college basketball version of Kevin Durant. And I say that as in the current version of them, or at least the one for the past few years after Coach K has left, because where do I even begin? And, I don't want to get right into the heart of the point. I really want to pick up where it starts because, this is pretty much built off last year, but it's also built off the year before and all that. And the thing is that John Skyer, the current Duke head coach, the successor to Coach K, it's not working. It's not working out. Now I know it was his third year. And here's the thing. If he was the coach of any other team, he wouldn't get backlash. He wouldn't get the amount of backlash for this, but here's the thing, man. Duke has been like the top basketball program, or at least like the top basketball program in popularity for like how long now? Like them and North Carolina since its inception. Okay, and the thing why it's not working is because Duke is top tier when it comes to recruiting, and they are still like that even after Coach K left because of the prestige of the program. And the thing is that the reason why John Skyer and Duke is not working out is because whenever it goes down the line, whenever it's a close game, whenever they have a big lead, if the lead like slims down a notch and it's down to the wire and it's tied, they're gonna choke. That's what they're gonna do, and I don't think they're gonna fire him because I feel like they would want to give him more time. They feel like, this crap. And, I don't think they're going to pull the plug on him yet unless Coach K wants the guy to be freaking guillotined. Which, honest to God, and the thing about this team is that they have been so off. And, the thing is that when they had that close game against Siena and they were all smiles, I just knew that this team wasn't going to win the title. I figured that they would make a Final Four, but I just knew that this team would not make it to the title game. And even if they did, they would not win the national championship game. Because let's be all completely honest, when you look at that performance against Siena, you look at that performance against TCU, hell, you look at the performance against UConn down the stretch, where they should have won, but Caden threw up the ball for no damn reason because John Skyer wanted him to do it. And you look at those performances and you're like, yeah, Arizona would obliterate them. In Michigan, the way that they've been playing against this Duke team, Michigan would beat them no problems too. Hell, Florida would definitely beat them too. This team is the most off one seed that I have seen in quite a while. They just didn't have it. Cam Boozer is a great player. I don't understand the hate for him because Cam Boozer, again, is a great player. He was definitely the best player on that team. Don't get me started about his brother, though. And I know that Caden's going to get a lot of slack for the pass, but you know who should get the most slack for that? The coach. The way that they blew that lead, the way that they tried to play that play, when they knew, I know why Caden did it. There's two reasons why. Number one, his coach wanted him to freaking do it. That's what they were probably talking about during that whole timeout stoppage. And then number two, they figured that if they throw it to that guy, if the two guys didn't get there, if they didn't block it, if Caden somehow maneuvered around them, Duke would have won the game 100%. But they didn't need to do that. And this is what it comes down to. When it's on the line, when it comes down to the brink, they choke. John Skyer doesn't know what the hell he's doing. What are you doing? You're up by 2. 10 seconds left. You already wasted almost half of it by passing around the ball. All you got to do is hold around, and you got to make 2 free throws, and guess what? You win the game. You don't throw it up. It's like I'm not one of those people who jumps on the Duke hate train. But it's like, man, even if Duke won this game, if Mullins bricked that shot, which 9 out of 10 times he does, but even if UConn lost that game, Duke should get have at least gotten the same ridicule for it. And we would have realized that this team wasn't going to beat Arizona. This team wasn't going to beat Michigan. Hell, this team probably won't even beat Illinois. It goes to the point because at the end of the day, Arizona and Michigan had heart. They had determination. They got passionate coaches. Arizona has the best team overall. Arizona, their best year ever. Del Russo going crazy. Michigan, you got a passionate coach and a bunch of transfers. Don't look at Yaxel's recruiting class. But Michigan, I got to give them credit. Their NIL investments pulled off. They got a passionate coach who took FAU to the Final Four. They know what the hell they're doing. That's what Duke needs to do. They need to get a coach. They need to get a coach from one of those lower tier schools who knows how to run a team and get them into Duke and have faith in him and give him some money and actually know when it comes to end the game situations, they can count on him to make the right call. Because John Skyer cannot make the right call. We all saw that Houston game. We all saw how that went down. That was Duke's moment. They had it in the bag. If Duke just won that game, they probably would have won the Natty. But no, they choked it. That was the best team in years. That was up in the ranks with the best teams that Coach K had. And he blew it. All right, say what you want about that missed free throw. Say what you want about the Cooper Flag foul. But it always, and we all know that always comes down to it. But what it also comes down to is what led to that moment. What decisions led to that moment. Because at the end of the day, those people look at the moment. Nobody looks up at the build-up. We're all going to remember that UConn shot forever. We all are. We're all going to remember where we are. And it's all going to be about Caden for throwing that ball up. And when it shouldn't exactly be his fault, it should be the coach's fault because he wanted him to throw up the ball in the first place. And number two, he got them in the position to where they choked it in the first place. And here's the thing. UConn missed 2 free throws. They were down by 2, 10 seconds left. All they had to do was hold on to the damn ball, let them foul, make the 2 free throws, and boom, they win. But no, they didn't do that. Why didn't they do that? I don't know. John Skyer is a freaking idiot. Duke needs an actual head coach, and I know John Skyer is in his 3rd year, but it gets to the point where enough is enough. First, you lost to NC State in the Elite Eight, which is passable because DJ Burns was moving like a menace. Then the Final Four game against Houston happened, and you had the top prospect. You had the best 3-point shooter. You had a great guard. You had the best team you could ever ask for in the college basketball landscape, and you choked it. And now this year, you blow it again. You blow it was either 15 or 19. Whatever the lead was, you blew that amount of a lead heading into a game. And this is the difference between winning coaches and loser coaches. Because when you look at the difference from the Duke coach and the UConn coach, Dan Hurley. I forget the Duke's coach name. Of course I do. But Dan Hurley is a winning coach for a reason. Why? Because they stuck into that game. They could have just quit like Tennessee earlier that day, but no. They held in there. Caravan was clutch. Mullins came in clutch. Everybody came in clutch for UConn. Why? Because they love their coach. Duke, they don't have those type of relationships there. They don't. Duke is in a weird spot right now because it feels like I guess the coach doesn't connect with his players. Like, that's where I think it comes down to. Because the players for UConn would definitely die for that man. I would doubt that for Duke. Because it's like this at the end of the day, man. The current day Duke coach doesn't feel like the voice that deserves to even sniff Coach K's shoes or records. There needs to be an actual coach in place. There needs to be a good coach in place. He doesn't deserve to be in the position where he is right now. And Duke is not going to do anything about it. They're not going to do anything about it. That just sums up Duke. But Duke's not going to do anything about it. I'd be honestly pretty shocked that they fired him. But I feel like enough is enough. Maybe they give him a chance for another year. And if it goes the same results, then I'd say, yeah, you got to definitely fire him. But I don't think Duke's going to do that. At least for this year. Next year, if this happens again, then I think he'd be a goner. But I think it just depends on money. And, it gets to a point, man. It just gets to a point. Duke is... And back to my first sentence, which I think I haven't really been talking about, is Duke is the Kevin Durant of college basketball as on a current basis. Because we all have seen that Kevin Durant is not legendary clip. We all have seen that. Kansas, ever since they won that natty, they haven't been back to this. They haven't been back to the second weekend ever since, I don't think. You gotta look at it from this side, I guess you could say. Arkansas has been rising the ranks. Acuff was one of the best. Acuff was the best freshman point guard in college basketball. Let me ask y'all this, who watch college basketball regularly. Besides Cameron Boozer, did we see any player exciting from Duke? Let's be honest. It just seems like the Duke coach is just there. He brings no substance. Now, I know he's not a John Calipari. I know he's not Michigan coach, whatever his name is, the Arizona coach, the Houston coach. I know he's not none of those, but he just feels like he's there. It just seems like he doesn't know in-game situations. And when it comes down to the line, you can't trust him. And then the team falters because of the coach's decision. And guess what? They lost in the most catastrophic way they could have possibly imagined. And that's why they're the Kevin Durant of college basketball right now. Because the old Duke Brigade is gone. You had Grant Hill in shock. The old Duke Brigade is gone. The era is over. Unless they fire him and bring a new guy in. Until then, Duke, you're not going to see a natty for a good bit. As long as you don't fire the guy, or if Coach K makes a call and gets the guy fired. But mark my words, Duke's not going to win a natty for a bit, for a while. And don't be surprised if they take a backpedal next year. Not exactly in the worst way possible, but a slight backpedal. And we'll see what goes from there. Yeah, man. That's pretty much it for my Duke-esque rant. Mullins, Mullins was Mr. Basketball in Indiana, and guess where the Final Four is? Indianapolis. There's not a more poetic story than that, man. Sports is awesome, man. And that's it. Bye.